Before heroes, before villains, before planets, stars, or even time itself. When the universe was born, it didn't form neatly, it fractured. From that first violent moment came 6 concentrated forces, not inventions, not weapons, but fundamental laws of existence. Over time, those forces solidified into physical objects. The Infinity Stones. They aren't tools created by someone, they are pieces of reality that never asked to be held. Each one controls a core aspect of existence, something the universe cannot function without. And when someone tries to control even one of them, reality pushes back. Because the universe was never meant to be owned. The Infinity Stones don't grant power the way a weapon does. They don't obey, they don't serve, they allow, temporarily, until the cost becomes unavoidable. To understand why they're so dangerous, you have to understand what each one actually represents, not what it does, but what it controls. Everything starts with Space Stone. Before time can move, before life can exist, before matter can collide, there must be somewhere for it all to happen. The Space Stone governs distance, location, and movement. With it, the universe becomes small. Walls lose meaning, borders vanish. The idea of far away stops existing. A person holding the Space Stone doesn't travel. They decide where they are. You can cross galaxies instantly. You can open pathways through nothingness. You can trap enemies by folding space around them, isolating them from the rest of existence. Entire armies become irrelevant when distance itself is optional. This is why the Space Stone is always one of the first to be sought. Control space, and everything becomes reachable. No one can hide, no place is safe. Power stops being about strength and starts being about position. Once you can reach anything, the next step is controlling who stands in front of you. That's where the Mind Stone enters. The Mind Stone governs thought, consciousness, awareness, and will. It doesn't smash cities or bend physics, it does something far more dangerous. It removes choice. With the Mind Stone, thoughts can be read like open books. Decisions can be nudged, altered, or overwritten entirely. Fear, loyalty, doubt, and obedience can all be manufactured. People don't have to be conquered if they can be convinced to surrender without realizing it. The most terrifying thing about the Mind Stone isn't mind control. It's how subtle that control can be. Victims don't feel enslaved. They feel reasonable, logical, certain. When the Mind Stone is used, resistance doesn't vanish because it's crushed. It vanishes because it never forms. And that raises an uncomfortable truth. The strongest prison isn't made of walls. It's made of beliefs you didn't choose. Once you can control where people are and what they think, the next temptation is obvious. Why accept reality at all? The Reality Stone governs the physical laws of the universe. Matter, energy, form, and structure all bend in its presence. Solid objects can become liquid. Air can turn to stone. Living beings can be reshaped instantly, without effort or warning. The Reality Stone doesn't destroy the universe. It rewrites it, but reality resists being rewritten. Changes made by the Reality Stone are unstable. They decay, they unravel. The universe pushes back against the lie, trying to correct itself. The more aggressively reality is altered, the more violently it tries to snap back into place. That's what makes the Reality Stone dangerous to its wielder. You aren't creating a new world, you're forcing the old one to pretend it's something else. And lies collapse eventually. Reality isn't fragile, but it doesn't tolerate being mocked. If the Reality Stone changes what is, the Power Stone removes the need for subtlety altogether. The Power Stone is pure, concentrated energy, raw, infinite, and overwhelming. It amplifies strength, durability, and destructive capability beyond any natural limit. Entire planets can be reduced to dust with a single release. Armies disappear instantly. Resistance ends before it begins. Most beings can't even touch the Power Stone. Their bodies disintegrate under the energy surge. Survival requires either immense durability or containment. The stone doesn't care who you are. It doesn't measure worth. It only measures capacity. The Power Stone exists for one reason: to remind the universe that destruction is always possible. It is the simplest stone to understand and the easiest to misuse. There is no nuance here, no lesson, only force. And force, when unchecked, erases everything indiscriminately. But destruction alone isn't enough to rule existence, because actions have consequences, unless you can undo them. The Time Stone governs past, present, and future. It allows events to be reversed, repeated, paused, or altered entirely. Mistakes stop being permanent. Death becomes negotiable. Outcomes become suggestions instead of finalities. With the Time Stone, someone can see multiple futures and choose the one they prefer. They can trap enemies in endless loops. They can reverse catastrophic damage as if it never happened. At first, this feels like mercy. But time without consequences is chaos disguised as control. If every mistake can be undone, decisions lose weight. Sacrifice loses meaning. Responsibility dissolves. The Time Stone doesn't just alter events, it alters accountability. When someone controls time, they don't have to live with the outcome of their choices. And when no one has to live with consequences, morality becomes optional. That's why the Time Stone demands discipline, not because it's dangerous to reality, but because it's dangerous to the person holding it. And then there is the one stone that refuses to be taken by force. The Soul Stone. The Soul Stone governs life, death, and the essence of being. It doesn't care about strength, it doesn't care about intelligence, it doesn't care about ambition, it cares about cost. To obtain the Soul Stone, you must sacrifice someone you genuinely love, not someone useful, not someone you can rationalize losing, someone whose absence will break you. There are no loopholes, no tricks, no clever wording. The stone knows intent. If the sacrifice isn't real, the stone refuses you. The Soul Stone exists to answer one question. What is your goal worth? Not in theory, not in speeches, in irreversible loss. This is the only stone that demands something back, and the universe remembers the price. When all 6 stones are brought together, something unprecedented happens. Reality stops resisting. Space, mind, reality, power, time, and soul no longer contradict each other. They align, and when they do, existence itself becomes editable. At that point, it doesn't matter how strong your enemies are. It doesn't matter how noble your intentions sound. Choice disappears not because people are weak, but because the outcome has already been decided. That's why the stones were scattered, hidden, separated, guarded by distance, secrecy, sacrifice, and danger. Not because the universe feared destruction, because it feared certainty. A universe where one will overrides all others isn't order, it's silence. And here's the final truth the Infinity Stones reveal. They don't corrupt people, they expose them. They don't create monsters, they remove limits. They strip away excuses. They show what someone was already willing to justify, once consequences stopped applying. Power doesn't change who you are. It shows who you were waiting to become. The Infinity Stones are not the ultimate weapons of the Marvel Universe. They are its ultimate test, and very few pass it.